everyone, but we are, it's like the girl band. Spice Girl. The Challah Girl. Hi everyone, my name is Carolyn Siegel. I'm the founder and executive director of If You Heard What I Heard, the first and only nonprofit to film the stories of grandchildren of Holocaust survivors, the last generation to ever hear survivor stories firsthand. Today I'm joined with our amazing advisor, Aliza Sokolow, incredible chef, and the Challah Girls, Sarah and Hannah, and we're going to be making a key challah today, a Shlissel Challah, so come with us.
So today we're making a Shlissel Challah. We've already prepped our dough. It's done its first rise, so let's braid it, schlissel it.
Let's schlissel it.
Let's schlissel it, turn it into a verb.
Have you heard of a Shlissel Challah
I
before?
only heard of the Shlissel Challah this year. It reminds me sort of a king cake that they do for Mardi Gras, because sometimes they have a key that's hidden in it.
Yes.
Like the baby for, what is it, for Mardi Gras?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like the key to prosperity.
Yeah.
And I love that about spring holidays, that it's really about renewal and like the key to joy or prosperity or whatever is involved in springtime of rebirth.
Yeah. Unlocking potential.
Can you tell us where the Shlissel Challah originated? Also, Shlissel means key.
Yes.
For anyone wondering.
It's
in
Yiddish for key challah. And part of its origin story, to my knowledge, is that when the Israelites were leaving Egypt and going through the Exodus, it serves as this entering into and unlocking of the promised land.
Beautiful.
And that's unlocking to a whole other level.
I know. It literally.
I would have tried to do that after eating matzah as well. Absolutely anything. So guys, tell me a little bit about Challah Girls.
Challah Girls started in 2020 as a passion project. We were all home during the pandemic, at the start of the pandemic, and we were watching all of the craziness unfold around us between illness and disconnection and racism and anti-Semitism, and we wanted to do something action-oriented. And we had taken up baking.
Well, you have been a baker your whole life.
I like to give credit to everyone because it's become in everyone. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't until you said, I need some help in the kitchen. We need to make more challahs than I was prepared for, and recruited your siblings, and now we're here.
It's true. And we began by reaching out to organizations that were like-minded in value and mission-driven. So we would do outreach to them and say, we're baking challah and we're selling it and we want the proceeds to go to the work that you're doing.
Great.
How can we partner?
Was it only Jewish organizations or across the board different types?
Great question. It was different types initially, and it's become more and more organically connected with more Jewish organizations since October 7th, especially. We wanted to learn about different communities and how they connect to food and tradition and the stories through their generations.
Mostly tell me, how many did you start baking week 1 and how many do you bake now?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Week 1, we had it down to a science of like one batch makes 8 loaves. We knew. So it was 8 loaves.
I think we donated like a whopping $12 to our first organization.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which we were very proud of. Small steps.
Have to start somewhere.
And then we very quickly increased to 400 loaves.
Great.
Huge leap.
You're kind
from
of
being-
Not from your house.
Yes, from our
From the
house.
house.
400 from the house?
Yes. Yeah.
How did you get everything to proof in time?
You know, we learned that
Was it
there
one oven?
2. We had 2 ovens. We really, the electric company came a few different times. We tried to bribe them with challah.
Yes.
And after the 5th or 6th time, they said, we understand that in COVID, people are using their ovens more and more, but this is not, we politely request that you move this
Or we make a
operation.
suggestion.
Yes, strong recommendation.
That you
So,
calm
yeah.
down.
Yeah, but it would be like around the clock operation
We put out a heater, like a space heater,
in
to
the
help
winter.
the dough prove.
Great.
We got very creative with it.
Well, you learn a lot through trial and error,
Yeah.
especially in baking.
So are you still making hundreds now and shipping
Yes.
them?
Yes. So then about a year and a half, 2 years after we began, we moved production into a facility, a kosher facility that can help us produce a lot more at a time than our cute little 2 ovens. Electric
And do
companies
you still
happy.
3 braid or 4 braid?
3. We stick with a 3 braid when we go around to different communities in the country, and we've recently gone international. We'll do a 4 braid, a 6. Hannah and our other sister Eliana, our youngest sister, are very good braiders and creative braiders.
Thank you. And Sarah is just a creative person, and amongst also being a creative braider and baker. But Sarah also established our, you can order challah back girls challah for your wedding, for an event. And if you want like a specially made challah that's like 6 strands or round, or basically whatever shape, maybe a key.
Maybe a key.
The drama.
I'm here.
But yeah, so we typically sell the 3 braid, 3 strand,
Right.
but yeah.
I'm a 4 braid kind of girl.
I love 4 braid
Love a 4.
people are.
I can't do 3 anymore since I learned the 4. I can't go back.
So we're going to make a key challah.
Do you want to use all of this stuff?
We're going to cut it up and we're going to make the different parts of it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's really nice dough.
It's really beautiful dough. It smells so good.
So we're going to flour the surface.
Just a little bit.
Okay, put this over here. We're going to make a long braided challah and then.
So am I
the
cutting
different
it
parts of
into
the piece.
4?
Yes, we're going to do a 4 braid.
Aliza, how did you get involved in If You Heard What I Heard?
So when I initially heard about it, I reached out to Carolyn since my family or my great grandparents had hopped on a boat a few days before the war began. But I learned that if your family members had escaped during a certain period of time, that you were considered a 3G. So I love to support the Jewish community in any way I can, and I realize what a miracle it is that I'm here, we're all here, you guys are here,
And that we literally learned today
that you guys are 3Gs also.
Yeah.
are 3Gs.
Yeah.
Which is thanks to you and Carolyn.
So it's really, we have to keep telling the stories. And I have relatives that survived the Holocaust and have the numbers on their arms, and it's really impactful. I remember the first time seeing that as like a preteen even, and being like, wow, that is real.
Yeah, it really is a miracle. We also can hear different stories, especially through If You Heard What I Heard, and learn about the different survivors and their families. And I think it's really cool that, especially when food and challah is top of mind, that these generations, especially Holocaust survivors, have their own stories to tell when it comes to what brought them together, what recipes they took from where they came from. I think that's really cool.
And I love
Very
knowing
special.
that on Shabbat, Jews all over the world are saying the same prayers, they're eating the same bread, no matter if they're Ashkenazi or Sephardi, whatever it is, we're all doing the same ritual that brings us together.
Yeah. What does being a part of If You Heard What I Heard mean to you?
Being a part of If You Heard What I Heard means a lot to me. I care about the future of the Jewish people and retelling stories, and stories are really how we carry on the names and what our grandparents, great-grandparents, relatives, friends all went through. So I'm a real storyteller.
Yeah.
But I care about the future of the Jews, and never again is something that's really important. And during this crazy time, it's more important than ever to keep telling these stories and take actions that show how proud we are being Jewish.
Yeah.
And challah is actually my favorite part of being Jewish. So
And I
Mine
feel
too.
like we're giving new meaning to the Shlissel Challah. Wow, what a
Shlissel
Shlissel Challah.
Shlissel Challah.
Um,
Becomes one word.
It does kind of. Because we're like unlocking these new stories.
It's true.
And like opening the door to retelling stories and being storytellers as well.
Yeah.
It's very special.
It's a gift. Okay, so Aliza,
Yes.
take us through a 4 braid. We're gonna build the foundation of the key.
The outermost
And put
strand.
it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put it all the way to the end, I believe.
Right.
And then,
Does that come out?
yeah,
That one goes here.
bring this one here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, so now we're going to make the different parts, the accessories.
How
to the
many
key. Yeah.
parts go on the key?
We're going to make today a 1, 2, and then a 3.
The like handle of the
Yeah,
key.
the handle and the lock. I do have to say that not growing up a baker and taking this on only in the last few years, doing this and being so intentional and shaping and just being in community with one another is very surreal and it's very grounding. So
Thank you for
I'm just
having me
reflecting
bake with
about
you. So sweet.
Typically, after the dough has risen, when we mix it all together, if we've used at least 5 pounds of flour, we do Shlissel Challah, which is like literally separating the challah. The hafresh is to separate. And so in biblical times, as now we know, so many of our traditions are rooted in biblical times, they would set aside, separate a piece of that dough to be given to the high priests. And nowadays,
we don't sacrifice that.
yeah, and instead do it in the merit of something, someone. So for us, especially in thinking about the mission of Hollaback Girls, we often think about communities in need, and more recently, the Jewish community and how we're showing up for the Jewish community and uplifting the Jewish people and telling stories so that people learn and maybe relearn or unlearn some things that they assume about Jewish people.
I'll set my prayer and intention for this one for the hostages to be released.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll move on with our lives a bit.
Yes.
Just
Amen.
pray for them every day.
And also use it as a way of sending out healing.
Yeah.
And awareness in that.
And I
mission.
just love with challah and all the cooking I do is just sharing my Jewish joy.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not like pushing a gospel on anyone. It's just this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of my joy comes from and that my family has done since way back. So
Since the Exodus.
since
maybe.
the Exodus, I just love sharing the
Unlocking.
joy of it.
I think in addition to the hostages, an intention I would like to set for the space also is to carry on the legacy of Holocaust survivors and of the stories of the Holocaust. Today was really a huge day for us, learning that our grandmother's experience fleeing Poland and being in a displaced persons camp and then making her way to America qualifies us as 3G because it fell between the years, I think, 1933 to 1945. And it's so meaningful for us to be here. It's like a crazy juxtaposition, right? Giving a prayer for hostages who are literally people held in confined spaces, which the Jewish people experience.
I never thought in my lifetime I would see anti-Semitism. I just never imagined it. I learned about it growing up in school and what's been going on these last few years. Not in my wildest imagination did I think people still had that much hate in their hearts and for Jewish people.
Yeah.
And mostly for no other reason than being Jewish.
Yeah.
If you heard what we heard,
Right.
And like if you felt this experience, because we're listening to stories and we're going through these motions in real time.
So it's like, how do we respond? What do we do? We respond frequently with food and challah, and it sounds like
Same.
you do too. Is there a
response.
recipe in your family that you take with you, or that you would want to take with you for future generations?
My cousin, Mindy Siegel, is one of the best bakers in the country. She's a James Beard Award. And Mindy is everything. And my great-grandfather and her great-uncle was a baker. He had one of those little horse carriages. If you go into her bakery, Mindy's Bakery in Bucktown in Chicago, there's a picture of his bakery cart. So I used her challah recipe, and then I made it my own. Mine's a little sweeter than hers, but I'm very lucky to be related to one of the best bakers in the world.
It's amazing.
Oh, Mindy.
So
Wow.
yeah,
That's great.
So we'll have to make
privilege.
Mindy's challah one time.
Mindy's challah is incredible.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Everything she does is incredible.
Sure.
She's next level.
Sounds
I
like
can't
my
really
icon.
compare her to anyone. So something I love both about baking and cooking and family recipes, sort of how if you heard what I heard, the recipes and stories I've taken from Mindy and our great-grandfather that have been passed down, and being able to tell them myself.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, and making, even with her recipe, taking that and making it my own. And still like maintaining the integrity of what she did and the stories that we hear.
That's very also fitting for right now, going from Passover, making this Shlissel Challah for the first Shabbat after Passover is when we make it. And we just told the story of Exodus. And it's not just to retell the story, it's also to imagine yourself as if you were there, and how we can bring this here and continue to amplify those stories and carry those traditions and legacy. Feeling really tied to Exodus right now.
I know.
Very much so.
It's giving Shlissel
This is
Challah.
giving like this parting of the
Oh,
sea,
yes.
kind of, you know.
So tell me
so
what's next.
So this is yours.
Oh, great.
But this could also be, these two are sort of the locks, right? So, and they're smaller. So like we're hoping.
So are we braiding them?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually when it bakes, it all ends up just like inherently connecting.
Okay. We are going to do a little egg wash.
How's it going in here, everyone?
Hello.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh,
fun.
It's so great.
Doesn't that look beautiful?
Oh, it's so cool. I love it.
It looks really
This
nice.
is the whole thing about like taking our traditions and making them our own, and that's like a big part of it. You heard what I heard, and our work is about taking what we know and the traditions and making it ours.
Yeah.
And we've done that today. Wow.
It's really important to have a brush to do this step.
Yeah, so you can like really get in there, huh?
Get in the crevices.
It's just important to do all things with integrity.
And we're
little
making a
details.
savory challah.
Yes, what are we going to put on it?
I think we should put these herbs.
So we're gonna make an herb challah. So we picked up some fresh herbs from the store, and we got like a nice little mix here. So
It smells amazing also.
What do we
smells
have?
so
We need to do, it's like
Oh my
a,
God,
you know,
I love it.
necessary sniff, you know.
Yeah, fresh herbs.
Some aromatics.
She's giving spring, she's giving rebirth, she's
Giving prosperity.
prosperity,
Big prosperity.
unlocking
energy.
ideas. Oh my word. Oh my god. Wow.
Okay,
Something
so
nice.
what do we hope everyone takes away from like watching us do this? Because we've had this really fun time making challah together, and we've had great conversation. And what do you guys hope everyone takes away from
When
it?
people learn a new tradition, the best part about being Jewish is that we're students we're always learning, and I figured I knew all of the holiday traditions, but I had never heard of this one before. So always learning and finding new ways to find joy, but also just new traditions. Like, what a cool thing that we learned today. And I guess all of us, I learned, you guys taught, but to have this new tradition that I can do next year when I'm more prosperous than I was this year.
It's we made a Shlissel
Yes, we
Challah.
unlocked that road for us for next year.
Godspeed.
What do you guys hope everyone takes away from today?
Challah Girls has this tagline that we are hungry for justice. And as Sarah shared earlier, we have had this beautiful evolution of kind of centering the Jewish voice and the Jewish experience, especially in a post-October 7th world. And my hope is that people are hungry for learning more and being open to hearing other people's stories, and that they unlock new paths and go on journeys that may be uncomfortable and different from their own, but that they remain hungry and feel the warmth of the challah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I really hope that everyone just takes away how important it is that we continue on our traditions, but make them our own, you know, and put our own modern spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Sarah?
I hope that people feel connected to their Jewish roots and what brings them joy through tradition, through legacy, through our ancestors' stories, and continue to build on that and connect with others in similar ways.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, guys.
Shabbat shalom.
Yay!